Your Local View on WYCU LDTV 26, serving Charlestown, New Hampshire, the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, and central Vermont.
Coming up tonight on YCU, an estimated $74 million is owed to Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center for charity care. All bets are on. The battle begins in the State House to legalize New Hampshire gambling. And State Senator David Pierce discusses some of the current key issues going on in the State House. For more news and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Welcome to YCU. I'm David Carmichael. For the second straight year, Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center and 14 other large hospitals in New Hampshire received no state money for treating people who cannot afford to pay. Hospital officials say this will ultimately harm the state's neediest residents. The Lebanon Hospital is by far New Hampshire's largest provider for charity care and has an estimated $74 million in medical services for this fiscal year, which won't be paid. Meanwhile, the state's 13 smallest hospitals were reimbursed for most of the medical care they gave to people who couldn't afford to pay. An overnight fire damaged a house in Plainfield. Police say that at about midnight, the homeowner of 7 Hell Hollow Road woke up and found several items on his back porch on fire. He attempted to put it out using water and snow, but it got out of control. He couldn't call the fire department because the flames had damaged his telephone lines, so he drove to a friend's house, called for help, and then he and a neighbor fought the blaze until crews arrived. The fire was contained to the porch and wall. A wood stove was determined to be the cause. A fierce two-front war over casino gambling will be hard fought in the legislature over the next 5 weeks. The first battle is over whether the House of Reps will vote to legalize betting on slot machines or poker tables after having rejected more than 3 dozen expanded gambling bills over the last generation. The second battle will come only if the first is won, and it's what to do with the bounty. Dedicate it to popular state programs such as higher education and highway construction, or spread it throughout a 2-year, 1,300-page state budget, as Governor Maggie Hassan has proposed to do. The New Hampshire Association of Chiefs of Police is under fire for its fundraiser, or gunraiser rather. They will be raffling off a gun every day in May, including weapons used in the Newtown, Connecticut elementary school shooting. The Chiefs Association posted a letter on its website defending the raffle. It says tragedies like Sandy Hook are contrary to responsible and lawful gun ownership. It's Through with Chew Week in New Hampshire, an effort to educate students about the harmful effects of smokeless tobacco. Health officials say that statistics show the use of smokeless tobacco has leveled off with the youth. It's at 3% for adults, and 45% of adults who use smokeless tobacco also smoke cigarettes. Vermont is the least religious state in the country, according to a new Gallup poll. Only 19% of Vermonters identified themselves as very religious, the fewest in the country. New Hampshire was second with only 23%, and New England as a whole did not identify themselves as very religious, with Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine, and Rhode Island all in the bottom 10 of least religious states. Mississippi remains at the top of the list with 58%. Nationwide, the average was about 40%. After the break, Chris Kelly from King of Cupcakes treats us with everything you need to know about his business.
The YCU News continues in a moment.